At the O.J. Simpson trial today, the defense tries to have Mr. Simpson address the jury. Opening statements before the jury are delayed by disagreement. The very last moments of U.S. Air Flight 427 before it crashed near Pittsburgh last year. And federal marshals are assigned to protect a dozen doctors on an anti-abortion group's action list.
From ABC, this is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings.
Good evening. We begin in Los Angeles tonight with the double murder trial of O.J. Simpson. There was more than enough proof today how highly charged the case is, just as the prosecution and the defense were set to begin opening statements, which would mark the first time the jury hears the approach which the two sides will take. The defense raised several new issues which had the prosecution crying foul. First, here is a summary of the day from ABC's Bill Rediker.
O.J. Simpson's mother Eunice and his sisters Shirley and Carmelita fought the crowds to get into the courthouse. His two older children were seated directly behind the defense table. Behind them, Judge Ito's parents. On the other side of the courtroom, the families of victims Ronald Goldman and Nicole Simpson. Two members of the public won their courtroom seats in a lottery. But the jurors were not present. Opening statements were delayed when prosecutors objected to Simpson's attorneys introducing last-minute evidence and a list of 34 new witnesses.
I'm absolutely shocked. I am shocked at this kind of conduct. You know, how could they withhold all this material and claim, and yet come into court and claim to this court on the record that they were in compliance with the discovery order?
Judge Ito asked prosecutors how he could remedy the problem. Deputy District Attorney Bill Hodgman asked for a one-week delay.
We're asking for a continuance so that we can flesh out whatever it is they have. They've got photographs, they've got video, they have statements.
That drew a fiery response from Simpson's attorney.
But I am absolutely appalled that the prosecution would come here and claim they're not ready for trial. They've been talking for months about all this mountain of evidence and how they're ready for trial. They see a few charts by us and they become frightened and want to run away and hide for a week.
Then, as the families of the victims looked on, the court was shown videotapes and still pictures from the crime scene.
Again, these are detectives walking through the crime scene.
Simpson's attorneys want to convince jurors that police contaminated the evidence by trampling on it. A pair of surgical gloves were left on the body of Ron Goldman. After a contentious argument, defense attorneys finally agreed they would not use the videotape in their opening statement. And Judge Ito ruled that only 10 of the new witnesses could be mentioned by the defense, giving prosecutors time to investigate the other 24.
I think that's absolutely reasonable. And although the world awaits the opening statements, I think that
I don't care
it's not going
about
to,
that. I don't feel the pressure at
times.
time.
I was going to say.
Although today's delays seem to surprise many, legal analysts say it was a deliberate strategy by the defense to upset the prosecution.
The defense did not want the prosecution to have an opening statement this afternoon, with the jury then going home not having heard from the defense.
While the jury remained out of the courtroom, defense attorneys revealed two more surprises. They claimed that a maid employed by one of Simpson's neighbors would testify that his white Bronco was parked outside his residence at the time of the murders. And they said that Simpson wants to address the jury during opening statements and reveal that he suffered football injuries that would prevent him from committing the murders.
Clearly, we're talking about physical limitations that existed long before June 12th of 1994.
Judge Ito saved a major decision until late in the day. He told defense attorneys they could not mention Detective Mark Furman, who discovered a bloody glove behind Simpson's residence, in their opening statement. However, the issue of whether he used racial slurs can be introduced later in the trial. Bill Rediker, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Joining us from Los Angeles now is our legal affairs correspondent, Cynthia McFadden. Cynthia, this business about Inspector Mark Furman is important, right?
It's really important, Peter. One of the main things the defense would like to do is to move this case away from Mr. Simpson and towards somebody else. And the somebody else in this instance is Mark Furman. Mark Furman, you'll recall, is the detective who discovered the glove at the Rockingham estate of Mr. Simpson. And they'd like to be able to suggest that they have a witness, Kathleen Bell, who can testify that Mr. Furman has made racial statements, hostile racial statements in the past about all black people. They'd like that before the jury. So it's important that the judge has permitted that.
This desire of Mr. Simpson to make a statement. Is there any precedent in California law for him to participate in the opening statement?
No precedent we can come up with, Peter. It is said that Angela Davis at one point did approach the jury on her own behalf, but it appears that she was also acting as her own counsel or co-counsel in that matter. It's unprecedented for Mr. Simpson to be able to give a statement to the jury. That would be a statement under oath and not subject to cross-examination. It's unlikely the judge will permit